Good evening everyone, I'm Jerry Sargent and welcome to Star Magic TV. How are you feeling right now, beautiful soul? Not how are you doing, but how are you feeling? It's really important when you speak to people that you always ask them how they're feeling and not how they're doing. Because by asking them how they feel, you bring them from their mind down into their body, down into their hearts, and they instantly connect or reconnect back with themselves. Because so many people are walking around up in their heads. And if you ask someone how they're doing, they give you an automatic, computerized response. Good, fine, okay. But what about bringing them into their body so they can feel how they are in the moment? So to kick off today's show, what I want to do is to bring you into your body. So just start to feel this area in your chest, your heart space. Take 3 nice long deep breaths. And feel your body. Feel your arms, feel your legs, feel your heart. And just center yourself. I want you to open your heart. Imagine a golden ball of light right in the center of your chest. See this golden ball of light expand. And see a stream of light coming out from your heart forwards. I'm going to open my heart and shine my golden light forwards. And we're going to connect together in this space as brother or sister. Just feel it. Feel the unconditional love. We really are brothers and sisters playing a game on this crazy planet called Earth. This crazy but beautiful, extraordinary planet called Earth. Let's keep this connection going. And wherever you go, in your world, in your life, have your heart open and connect. In this show, we're going to talk about a specific subject. We've had so many questions rolling in about ascension and highly evolved beings. And a question that we were asked the other day was, is our aim this time to become 5D masters in a physical body? And the simple answer to that would be yes. But I want to go into this in a lot more detail. Now, when we're talking about highly evolved beings, we could be talking about extraterrestrials, angels, other beings that live in higher densities. Now, not all of these beings are highly evolved in every single way. There are some beings that are malevolent and some that are benevolent. Now, the ones that are malevolent may have some extraordinary abilities, but it doesn't mean they're highly evolved. They still live to create fear and live in lower vibrational or lower density spaces where greed, fear, jealousy, anger are at the forefront of their existence. Now, these beings we're not going to discuss today. I want to share with you my thoughts and feelings on highly evolved beings and what it means to be a highly evolved being. So there's 10 points that I want to share with you today. The first one is this. Highly evolved beings deeply understand the unity of all life and live congruently. So what does that really mean? If you're a highly evolved being, you understand unity consciousness. You understand that we all came from the same source and that any forms of separation must be an illusion. Highly evolved beings don't see each other as black or white, rich or poor. To a highly evolved being, it doesn't matter whether you come from Romania, from England, from Australia, from Kenya. To a highly evolved being, it doesn't matter what clothes you wear, what school you went to. What matters is what lies underneath the illusory veil of the personality. And when you go deep into the eyes of every single human being on this planet, you see light. You realize that we're all unconditional love, we're frequency, we're sound, we're geometry, we're codes, and that there really is no separation. And because of this, highly evolved beings want to live congruently with each and everyone else. To live congruently, it means to live in harmony, where we care and we share about each other. We care and we share about our brothers and sisters on this planet. We also live congruently with the animals, with the flowers, with the trees, with the plants. We live congruently with the sea life in our oceans. We live congruently with the birds that fly through our skies. We realize that by helping other people, animals, plants, trees, we're actually helping ourselves. If you were to cause pain or damage to another being, whether it be human or animal, whether it be a plant or a tree, you're only doing harm to yourself. The reason being, everything is energy. Something else that is a trait of a highly evolved being is that they always tell the truth. A highly evolved being cannot lie. They know that if they lie, then it's going to create a different vibrational frequency within their own energy body. And if they're communicating with another highly evolved being, they're going to feel it. They're going to know that it's a lie. This creates an issue for the other highly evolved being and for the highly evolved being that's actually telling the lie. And even though there's no right or wrong, there's just experience, a highly evolved being knows the importance of honesty. A highly evolved being tells the truth by speaking through their hearts. They connect with the other human being or whoever it is they're talking to by feeling the information as well as saying it. This helps build the relationship, it helps build trust. And highly evolved beings, they know the truth comes through the heart. Beings that aren't highly evolved often communicate thought process to thought process. And more often than not, that is ego response to ego response. And in this way, the mind can be very dangerous. So highly evolved beings, they stay in their hearts and they communicate honestly. Another trait of a highly evolved being, highly evolved beings always do what they say they're going to do. And this really comes back to that age-old saying, your word is your bond. Two highly evolved beings don't need to have a contract with each other. If you put your hand there and you shake on it, that should be all that's needed. Unfortunately, for the last however many thousand years it's been, the human race has lived on lower vibrational frequencies, where it's been every man or every woman for themselves. And everybody's trying to get ahead, and they'll even do it at the expense of their fellow human beings. I know this myself personally because I used to be like it. But as you wake up and you become more conscious and you start to evolve yourself, you realize that working in harmony with other people and supporting them and looking after them is a much better way to operate. So there never ever should be a need for a contract or paperwork when it comes to highly evolved beings doing business together. Because highly evolved beings, they have deep, deep value. And at the core of those deep, deep values is unconditional love. And close to that is respect or oneness. So a highly evolved being knows that if they put their name to something or their word to something, then they have to follow through. They must follow through because they're not just taking themselves into consideration. They're taking others or many others into consideration at the same time. Whether it's a business venture or whether they're helping out their next door neighbor. It's irrelevant. Your word is your bond, and a highly evolved being always keeps to their word. Another trait of a highly evolved being is this. They always do what works. A highly evolved being doesn't rush into a situation. A highly evolved being follows their heart. And whatever happens on that journey when they follow their heart, they're in complete acceptance and they allow it to flow. They know that by doing what works isn't always the fastest route to the goal, but they know that it's sustainable and everlasting. But that doesn't even come into the mindset or the heart set of a highly evolved being. A highly evolved being with expanded consciousness knows that life is like a river, and whether you turn left or right, life will always flow, and you're going to learn the lessons that you need to learn at this particular stage of the journey. Everything is now, everything is in the moment. There is no future, there is no past. You stay in your heart and you flow. Like the Chinese term wu wei, living in a state of spontaneous flow. A highly evolved being rocks and rolls at the drop of a hat, flows like a river, and bounces when necessary. A highly evolved being would never ever consider killing another being. Killing another being, person, human, animal would not come into the mindset or heart set with a being with an elevated frequency or expanded consciousness. There have been so many wars on this planet, and to a highly evolved being, it's painful. Even though they don't get too emotionally involved, they stand back and they realize the truth in all situations. They always realize that whatever is happening in the world, whatever kind of war is happening, whether there's a natural disaster, an earthquake, a tsunami, a volcano, or there's the potential of World War III, or bombs are going off in Israel. They take a step back and they look in from a third-party perspective, and they realize that every human being is in the right space at the right time. They realize that some beings are sacrificing themselves because quite often through pain, misery and anguish, we find the spiritual path. It's fraught with challenges and tests. A highly evolved being knows this and continues forward anyway. They don't judge any man or woman that may order soldiers into battle to kill other humans, other brothers and sisters. They take a step back and they realize that every human being is playing their part in this game of life. At the same time, a highly evolved being would never pull the trigger. They'd always try and find an alternative road, a road paved with peace, love and harmony, where they can share and care and raise the vibration of their fellow beings on this planet. At the same time, they know that love can be ruthless. Love isn't always easy. Sometimes you've got to make harsh decisions. When everyone else in your space is telling you one thing, you know that you should go the other way. And so a highly evolved being always stands in their truth regardless. Joy and divinity are the default states of every highly evolved being. A highly evolved being would never ever damage their environment. If you look around the planet right now, there are corporations ripping up football fields in the jungle. Trees are being chopped down for timber, and cattle are put to graze to feed the meat industry. They realize that it takes the same amount of water to get 2 pounds of steak that it does to keep a navy ship afloat in the water. They realize that Earth is being constantly tipped out of balance. We have everything that we need to survive. And not only survive, but thrive beyond all measure. Mother Earth gives us all the food that we need to nourish our bodies. She gives us all the sunlight we need to nourish our soul. We get all the oxygen we need to breathe into our physical beings. And we have so much space. Factories to produce more processed goods. And why? For power, control, money. A highly evolved being knows that all of these things are on the way out, will become non-existent, obsolete. We don't need to chop down trees. Enough trees fall to the floor as it is. These fallen trees can be used to build homes or used as firewood to keep people warm. There are enough berries, nuts, leaves, plants to feed the entire human race without killing animals, without killing sea life. Everything is there on tap for us. Yet there's rubbish over the streets, rubbish in fields, rubbish in the oceans. All of this is completely unnecessary. And a highly evolved being knows this with their heart, with their soul, with every fiber of their being. A highly evolved being wants to share everything with everyone. They never claim any ownership. How can you claim ownership over something on planet Earth? We live in a free world where everything is connected by light, by frequency. How can you own a plot of land and that plot of land be yours? We're sovereign beings playing this game of life. We live and play on a planet with an abundant amount of resources. The trees are their own. The flowers, the plants, the animals, their own. The oceans belong to themselves, to the planet. How can someone buy a piece of jungle or a river or a stream? A highly evolved being knows that we're here on this planet to share and care. And that by sharing and caring with our fellow brothers and sisters, where everyone thinks they're separate, we're connected by light, by frequency, by geometry. One stream of consciousness flows through everything. We've just been conditioned to perceive reality in a specific way. And how we perceive reality in this specific way, it limits us. It creates boundaries, it creates limitations. And you, my friends, are a highly evolved being that has zero limitations. When we're talking and discussing about highly evolved beings, I'm not just talking and sharing about beings from other planets or beings from other planets and star systems that may live amongst us. I'm talking about you. You are a highly evolved being, and you can live your life with different values. You get to choose always. You can walk around this planet seeing everyone as different, or you can realize that your brothers and sisters on this planet are unique and special, and that we all have something to offer each other. You can put your hand in your pocket and you can buy someone on the streets a drink or some fruit, or maybe take them for lunch and talk to them. Maybe they just want your company and for you to sit down on the street step with them. It's in your inherent nature to care and to share, not to hate and to separate. Highly evolved beings want to come together and make this world a much more harmonious place. Sharing, caring, teamwork is mission critical. Highly evolved beings work together, and they always work cooperatively. By working together in teams, we can achieve so much more. At the same time, a highly evolved being knows that by stepping into a community, into a family, they're not going to find their power. There's only one place on this planet that you're going to find your power, and that is inside of your cosmic heart. When you let go of the identity that you think or believe that you are, when you transcend your identification with the self that plays the game of life. For me, that would be Jerry Sargent. For you, it would be whoever you are. But who you are is different from your identification, from your person. When you transcend this and go past that into your heart and connect with your light, you realize that we're all the same and there's no need for competition. It doesn't matter how much money you've got, what car you drive, how big your house is. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do. A highly evolved being is never trying to beat the next man or woman. They work in harmony, cooperatively, and they work together. Once a highly evolved being finds their power and steps fully into it, they naturally start to gravitate towards their tribe. And that tribe, it grows and becomes stronger as more and more highly evolved beings gather in the same space with a common goal, with their hearts connected, with a mission headed in the same direction. That is a force to be reckoned with. As you evolve and step into your power, you will naturally find your tribe. The reason that is because that's the whole specific reason that you and I and everyone else came to this planet. You came to this planet to shine your light and step into your power, and then connect with your fellow brothers and sisters from the stars who came here to do exactly the same thing. And that is what is happening right now on planet Earth. It's incredible. There are beings all over this planet that are waking up big time. There are healers, there are psychics, there are nutritionists, there are medical experts. There are people from all walks of life that are waking up and raising their levels of consciousness. And as they do, they know it doesn't matter whether they're a lawyer, an accountant, a dustbin man, whether they're a politician or a healer, a dentist or a school teacher. As their levels of consciousness rise, they know that we all must come together, work in harmony, and create peace on this planet. It's all unconditional love, beautiful soul. A highly evolved being does not embrace the principles of justice and punishment. Highly evolved beings, they work differently. There's a tribe in Africa, and if someone does something in that tribe that in the Western world could be deemed wrong and due for punishment, instead of trying and punishing the man or woman like we would in the Western world, they handle things completely differently. They would take the man, the woman, the child that had been deemed to have done something wrong to the tribe, and they'd put them in a circle. The rest of the tribe would gather around them and they'd tell them how amazing they are. They'd focus on all their strong points and they'd completely switch the reality by raising this human being's frequency in the most special way. A highly evolved being doesn't believe in lack. A highly evolved being knows that by staying in their heart space, the universe will always provide. They don't need to cut corners. They need to live on the frequency of unconditional love and take action when necessary. And everything will be provided for them. Every single one of us are capable of being highly evolved beings. Be kind, be compassionate, share and care, and let's create freedom on this planet. Join your Star Magic tribe. We're growing rapidly and we're changing this planet in the most incredible way. You're amazing, beautiful soul. I love you with my heart, with my soul, with every fiber of my entire being. If you'd like more information, then please visit starmagichealing.com. Teamwork is the key. I love you unconditionally. One love, one heart, one human family.